We're back with another episode of Ask the Edmonds Cop, and one of the favorite topics for this time of year, Sergeant Shane Hawley, is taxes.
It is.
We
Well, I don't
all-
know that people actually want to talk about taxes
Yeah.
too much.
Favorite is in a lot of us are doing them,
Yeah.
but let's talk about tax fraud because that's something
It
that
is.
does pop up this time of year, right?
Oh, definitely, definitely. So we've done a few segments on these, so we have to start out with the common thread among a lot of it, and that is mail theft.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of it comes from. We see a spike in mail theft around tax season. Well, starting actually around the holiday season when people are sending cash, which we don't do through the mail.
No.
We see a lot more mail theft for that, looking for gift cards and that sort of stuff. And then when it's tax season, looking for personal identification information. And take a look at what actually is in your mailbox. Some of these documents that you have to file your taxes, there's a lot of personal information on there.
Right.
And you can very easily become an identity theft victim based on just what's sitting in your mailbox.
Yeah, social security number,
Yeah.
address, all
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just getting your social security number, and then just through common searches, you can find a lot of information about people. So not real difficult to do. It's kind of a lucrative business, and you see that.
Okay.
So the risk reward factor for mail theft and ID theft is pretty high compared to a lot of other crimes, and that's why we see a spike in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I thought we could also talk about something we haven't done before. And there was kind of a big media storm related to ID theft last year, if you remember.
Yes.
And we're talking about the Equifax data breach.
Oh, yeah.
So that got a lot of media attention, and rightfully so, because, millions of people had their information compromised. And you may not have had anything actually happen with your information yet, and you may never. That's just the reality of it. But with tax season coming up, if that information is then out there, it would be interesting to see how many fraudulent tax returns are done. So when you go to file your taxes and you get something from the IRS that says they've already been filed for you, that's never a good thing.
Red flag.
Big red flag. Somebody's already done your taxes. And something like $3 billion last year or something that the IRS believes they paid out in fraudulent tax returns. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you don't understand what we're talking about, someone basically gets enough personal information for you and they file your tax return on your behalf using your information with made up information to get a refund.
Yeah.
And then they have it sent to some fraudulent bank account, and then once money hits it, they just they cash it out, close the bank account. Very difficult to deal with and track,
Okay.
and ties you up for months trying to prove that it wasn't you that filed it. It's a nightmare.
I can only imagine
Yeah.
having to tell the federal government that it really wasn't you and having to try to get it back. Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of guilty until proven innocent in
Yeah.
some ways. So some things you can do to prevent this: make sure you have real strong security password and protection. Make sure all your antivirus software is up to date to prevent you from becoming an online victim.
Right.
Most of us do a lot more online business these days.
Banking.
Banking, online ordering. There's a lot of stuff, and viruses are designed to try and get into your computer system. And when the person calls, from Microsoft or wherever, and they want to get access to your computer because they say there is a problem, hang up on them.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, if you need to talk to Microsoft, you call them. They just don't call you.
Yeah.
Which I always find entertaining because I have all Apple products now.
Right.
So, why is Microsoft calling me? I don't think so. Shred paper documents. So when you're done with them, shred them. Just get rid of that stuff. Don't just throw it in your recycling bin. We've seen recycling bins gone through before as well.
Yeah.
Don't carry around your Social Security card. Memorize your number, but keep the card, so if you lose your wallet or whatever, you're not just a stolen wallet away from being an ID theft victim. And file early.
Oh, good advice.
Beat
so you
them
have
to the
time
punch.
to sort it out. Oh, yeah, beat them to the punch,
Yep.
and then if something does happen, you have time to sort it out.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and talking about that data breach, a lot of people have frozen their credit and think, oh, great. But just because your credit's frozen, that has nothing to do with your tax return.
Right.
So that doesn't prevent you from being a tax victim.
Right. And I suppose it would also be a good time to remind people that a locking mailbox is not a bad idea, right?
Not a bad idea. I know the post office will, depending on certain block areas, you can get the big locking mailboxes for everybody.
Yeah.
We had one of those put in our neighborhood. Works pretty well. Knock on wood. Nobody's messed with it so far. It's good deterrent.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll be back soon with another episode of Ask the Edmonds Cop.